Chicago, the Green Bay Packers, and the Chicago Bears. The Bears atop the NFC Central, trying to stay ahead of the surging Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay hoping for a wild card spot. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Joe Theismann here at Soldier Field in perfect weather conditions for a Bear-Packer game, Joe. Gray and threatening skies.
That's exactly the way they like it, Tim. And today, the key word in this contest is going to be protection. Can Randy Wright continue to get the protection he's gotten against the Bears when they didn't get any sacks the last time they played? And can the offensive line of the Chicago Bears protect Jim McMahon, who was sacked 7 times last week against the Detroit Lions?
Well, there is our weather condition for today. Not bad, actually. 42 degrees for post-Thanksgiving in Chicago, but there is a rain forecast. It sprinkled here earlier today, and we could have heavy rain before this game is over. The Bears will receive, and it is Thomas Sanders from the 1-yard line. Hit at the 16. Solid shot from Kelly Cook, reserve running back of the Green Bay Packers, and Jim McMahon will bring out the Chicago Bears against a Packer defense that is improving weekly. Carricker, Ross Browner for the injured Jerry Boyarsky on the nose, and Robert Brown. Linebacking core, which includes rookie Johnny Holland. And a much improved secondary with the return of Mark Murphy, the veteran who missed last year with injury, and Dave Brown coming over from Seattle. First down, Bears from their own 17. Neal Anderson on first down, picks up about 4 near the 23-yard line. Anderson, the #1 pick a year ago from Florida. And offensively, he is joined by Walter Payton with Galt, rookie Ron Morris, and Emery Moorhead, the receivers. A banged-up offensive line. Everybody you see on that list, an injury of one kind or another. And last week, Bear quarterbacks were sacked 8 times by the Detroit Lions, partially because of the injury problems to the offensive line. Calvin Thomas in the lineup now on 2nd and 5, we'll call it. Payton close to the first down near the 29-yard line.
First down.
Holland and Noble, the inside linebackers, made the stop, but it is a Chicago first down.
Well, you know, you almost interchange Walter Payton and Neal Anderson. You see they've carried the ball combined 25 times for some 71 yards against the Packers last time. So it's like having one back in the backfield. Walter, of course, at one end of his career, Neal Anderson on the other. A great blend to have both of them in the backfield at the same time.
Anderson lines up on the wing right on first down, just inside the Bear 30. Play action fake to Payton. Complete to Morris at the 49 of Green Bay. Mark Murphy on the tackle. Ron Morris, the rookie from SMU.
The play action fake into the line of scrimmage, and from the left part of your screen, you're going to see Morris come around. There comes Anderson in, fake to Payton up the middle to hold the linebackers, and then you create that cushion between the linebackers and the secondary. Ron Morris makes a nice catch on the in-ball. Good play action faking, good protection up front.
In Packer territory at the 49. Anderson the lone setback, Payton on the wing left. Anderson, big hole up the middle. 7, maybe 8 yards. Tripped up by Ross Browner, who came over from the Cincinnati Bengals after being released. And, of course, Forrest Gregg had him over there.
Right there is Ken Stills. Now, he's going to come on the blitz, and they're going to run up the other side away from him. There's the fake up the middle. There he comes. He's trying to time his blitz with this cadence. He gets it, but he's going the wrong way. Neal Anderson finds the hole vacated by the linebacker. Ross Browner trying to make the tackle, but it's tough to tackle somebody when you're going backwards.
2nd and 4 for the Bears, and Jim McMahon didn't like what he saw. Takes an early timeout. So the Bears driving on their first offensive series. They are in Packer territory at the 43. Tim Ryan with Joe Theismann at Soldier Field, and Forrest Gregg played on those great Packer teams under Vince Lombardi. They were better than the Bears. Since becoming a coach of the Pack, however, it's been Ditka time with the very successful team under Mike Ditka in recent years, including a Super Bowl champion. 2nd and a long 4, we'll call it. Chicago at the Packer 43, opening series. in motion. Anderson, good defensive reaction, slicing through to make the first hit on the play was Ross Browner, shedding the blockers over him. And there's no gain.
And this is actually the second week Ross Browner has had the opportunity to play nose tackle. Jerry Boyarsky was there. It's a different position because he's used to being a defensive end where he knows he can take an outside without anybody hitting him. As a nose tackle, they hit you from everywhere. You got backs running into you, centers running into you, guards running into you, tackles trapping you. So it's got to be a whole new world for him inside.
Forrest Gregg says he's a highly motivated guy who will help this team, and he knew him well from Cincinnati days. Third down from the shotgun, McMahon under pressure, and it's incomplete. Flag down on the play. Ron Morris, the intended receiver. Not a good throw, but he did have a chance to catch it in the clear.
That's a difficult throw for a quarterback running left.
Interference is signaled against the Bears.
It's very difficult for a quarterback scrambling to his left. And remember, Jim has had the surgery.
Number 84, offense, D-line, fourth down.
Ron Morris trying to get open, and the turf is not a problem, so people shouldn't be misled because the weather is a little inclement that they think it's slippery. It's not. But for a quarterback, we were talking about Jim McMahon, running to his left, it's tough to turn and throw. On a cold day in particular, and again, he's had that shoulder problem. Talked to him earlier this week. He said it just doesn't loosen up quite as much as he would like it to in this type of weather.
It probably takes a little longer to do so as well on a cooler day. Brian Wagner will punt for the Bears. Walter Stanley waiting for it at the 10-yard line. Pretty good rush by the Pack. Fine punt angled and now comes upfield and is down at the 12-yard line by Calvin Thomas. So Brian Wagner with a 30-yard punt, but well positioned. Packers start deep in their own end from the 12. Randy Wright, who took over from the rookie Don Mikowski in last week's victory over Kansas City, will face this Bears defense ranked number 2 in the NFL. Harris for the injured Dan Hampton on the front. Ron Rivera for the injured Otis Wilson. And a secondary that has Mike Richardson making his second start of the season, taking the spot from Reggie Phillips. On first down, intended for Stanley. Flag on the play. Ball was high, and it may be an interference call against the Bears. Todd Bell protesting vociferously. What he anticipates is indeed an interference call.
Interference, number 24, defense, first down.
Dick Jorgensen.
Well, this is just,
to Jackson.
and this is just a question of mistiming. Vesti Jackson on the move. Now, you see Stanley Plant. Now, Vesti does a great job of staying with him, just slips a little bit, trying to regain his balance. Really, he just bumped into the back of Walter Stanley. That was more a slip into a receiver than actually making contact. They still count as interference, though.
First down, Green Bay. Brent Fullwood on his first carry. Fullwood starting for the injured Kenneth Davis, whose sore ankle has rendered him inactive this week. He's on the 5 inactives of the Packer roster. Fullwood, Jesse Clark, the running backs. Speedy Philip Epps with Stanley and the tight end Ed West. Their offensive line with great-looking young tackle Ken Rutgers on the left side. Alan Weingrad for the injured Keith Euchre at right tackle. Second down and 7. Wright gets good protection. He's got Stanley open. Touchdown, Green Bay. No, he's out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Stanley out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Looked like he was cruising into the end zone, but it'll be first down, Green Bay. There's Forrest Gregg saying, I thought he was in the end zone.
Well, this has been the area that seems to have come under a lot of criticism by the Bears. It's their secondary. There's Mike Richardson up in a press. Now, Stanley does a good job of going by him and just takes that little shove to give himself help up the field. Durison can't help out. Mike Richardson back into the lineup, starting, and hasn't been for a while. And it could be just a little bit of rust.
Here's where he evidently stepped out. That diving tackle try by Richardson, just enough to throw Stanley off balance. He stepped on the line. But it's first and goal from the 3-yard line. A 66-yard play. Paul Ott-Carruth, number 30, stuffed after a gain of a yard.
we talked to Forrest Gregg yesterday, and he talked about Paul Akaruth. He said he's the guy you're going to see down close to the goal line. He finds a way to get in the end zone. If the hole's clogged up, he'll take it outside or go any way he can to get in the end zone.
Well, and Randy Wright said that they thought Stanley would have been able to do well against Reggie Phillips. They were a little disappointed the Bears had made the change last week with the former starter Richardson returning to that role, but they went right after Richardson for a very big play. Caruth is stopped short. Al Harris underneath the pack, and Sean Smith, the rookie, number 97 from Grambling.
I don't think jumping is his forte. You'll see, it's just nose to nose, put your rear ends up and your nose in the ground and fire out. Now, he doesn't really get a chance to get up in the air very high. I wouldn't qualify that with a Walter Payton leap.
No,
I don't think so.
I think not.
Maybe a 4 as opposed to a 10 on the dive meter.
3rd and goal from the 1. Are they in? No signal yet. Yes, touchdown. Touchdown, Green Bay. Brent Fullwood, the rookie from Auburn, smashing straight ahead. And Green Bay takes an early and somewhat stunning lead with that 66-yard pass play.
Well, you see Ed West coming at you. It's just a straight fire out and find the hole. The Bears hit him initially and stop him right at the 2, right there. But that footwork, you'll see him power in and just does get the ball into the end zone. Remember, it only has to break that plane.
It was Perry who got that lick on him, but a good second effort by Fullwood. And the point after by Max Zendejas has Green Bay on top of the Chicago Bears. 7-0, 9:25 to go, first quarter.
Now they're going to create a little bit of a pocket for him, and Randy Wright's going to slide and get in this hole. But Rutgers and Moran do a good job of keeping the defense out. You see him create that pocket. Perry comes around. They give him that little hole to step up into. You got to be able to step forward and throw the ball down the field. And he does it very accurately.
Nice catch by Stanley, too. And you see, he just steps out on the 3 on the diving try by Richardson, but the pack scores on the 1-yard plunge by Fullwood. Sanderson from the 10. Sanders from the 10. And Sanders over the 30, still working his way about the 33-yard line. And an injured Packer down is number 54 reserve linebacker Scott Stephen, but now up on his feet. 87 yards in 5 plays, a 66-yarder right to Walter Stanley.
I don't think the Bears want to get into another shooting match with the Packers like they did up in their last game. I just can't believe they want to try and match it going back and forth. The Packers have done very well in early parts of the game. It's been the third and fourth quarters that have really created problems for them. They're off to a typical Packers start in this one.
First down, Chicago at their own 33. Anderson. Good pursuit by the Packers. John Anderson, number 59, with Brian Noble, the linebackers, waiting for Anderson at the corner. Gain of maybe 2.
Anderson looked a little tentative turning the corner there. He usually, he's a fiery guy, a slasher, move it up the field type of a runner. That time he got on the outside, pitter-pattered those feet a little bit, and didn't really get himself going upfield. The Bears look a little passive, a little tentative on offense right now.
It'll be second down along 7. Payton over the 40-yard line, picks up 4 yards. Stopped by Robert Brown, number 93, and Ken Stills, the safety, number 29.
There's a special bunch of guys. Jimbo Covert, of course, got an injured shoulder, popped out 3 times last week. Mark Bortz, you name it, he's got it. Jay Hildenberg, he's got a shoulder with wearing a harness, as well as Covert. Tom Thayer is a knee, but he's probably the healthiest of the bunch. Yeah. And Keith Van Horn with a neck. Now, that's got to be tough on a lineman because the defensive guys always are going to hit you up around the shoulders and the head.
They have been together for so long, their unity is such that you got to drag them off the field. And Kurt Becker, of course, can fill in at guard and tackle if necessary. 3rd and 2. and Neil Anderson may have been stopped short of that first down. Good push by John Anderson, the linebacker, and the rest of the Packer front. And they are short. It'll be 4th down at the 42 of the Bears. So the punting unit is on. Ryan Wagner averaging 41.8 coming into the ball game. That 30-yarder was a good one on his first effort from inside Packer territory. Got it to the 12. Walter Stanley will wait for the Wagner punt. Stanley at the 20. Flags down as he struggles to the 26-yard line. Dennis Gentry made the tackle on him. Flags down where the ball arrived after a 38-yard punt from Wagner.
Well, you know that one's going to be blocking in the back. Anytime you see the flag come out in that area with a man returning the ball, it's going to have to be blocking in the back. They're going to take it back half the distance.
A block, number 23, receiving team during the run back. 10 yards, first down.
Tiger Green charged with the illegal block.
There you see him right behind him. Gentry trying to make the tackle, but Tiger Green get a little aggressive. You know, those cover guys are nifty. Just when you think you got a block on them, they turn your back, and boom, you hit them.
All part of the technique.
Yep.
That's why they're on special teams. Well, Green Bay has had a problem in this category. 97 penalties coming into today's game, second in the NFL. That is Jesse Clark, the fullback from Arkansas. Gets about 4.
That's just to keep the Bears honest. That's not the way the Packers are going to make hay today. You see, as they match up, they're 20th in rush offense, which means they don't run the ball very well. And, of course, the Bears #1 against the run. If the Packers are going to continue to have some success, they're going to have to do it throwing the football.
We've got an injured Packer down, and it's the right guard, Ron Hallstrom, the 6-year man from Iowa. So we'll take this time out here. Under gray skies in Chicago, the Packers have the early lead. Heisman at Soldier Field. There's Ron Hallstrom, hurt on the last play. Took a real shot from Todd Bell, and we expect he'll be back shortly. Been replaced for this play at least by Tom Neville, number 72. Second down, Packers, and a long 4 at their own 16. Fullwood hit behind the line. Todd Bell picks up the ball, but play is whistled dead as he takes it into the end zone. Well, Todd Bell and Steve McMichael were waiting for Fullwood at the time the ball arrived.
Oh, you're going to see the aggressive nature. There comes Bell. There they come. They're going to fire in and nail him. You just fill the holes. That's all it is. They move with the flow, and boom, comes in from the side, takes a shot. Now the ball cannot create a fumble, or the ground cannot create a fumble. Excuse me, the ball can, obviously. But the ground cannot create the fumble. That's why it was whistled dead.
Well, Todd Bell said he wanted to play an all-pro day here today, an all-pro game, and that was a good start right there. He was the guy who put the lick on Hallstrom. Third down, shotgun, quick pass on pressure on right from Wilber Marshall. Had to unload that ball sooner than he wanted. The Packers will have to punt.
Well, from the left of your screen, Wilber Marshall's just going to come flying through, and Randy Wright's going to have to get rid of the football. See Dent on the outside, Rutgers taking him on, but there comes Marshall untouched. Well, he was untouched. Randy Wright went touched.
Randy Wright playing with that sore foot. Didn't get a chance to plan at all on that play. Don Bracken will hit it from the 5. The punt hangs up in Packer territory and goes out at the 46. Chicago will have excellent field position for their second offensive series, a 31-yard punt.
Talking to Coach Ditka, he has said that they want to try and reestablish the running game. They felt time of possession was very important to him in last week's victory against Detroit. He wants to try and do that. That's the cornerstone of his football team. It's been the running game. But I really believe with this kind of field position, you come out, you run a little play action pass because you've tried the first 2 series to run it, and try and take Willie Gault down the field or Ron Morris deep for 6 and get right back in the game, get the crowd into this football game.
It's first down, Bears, Packer 46. Here's the play action. McMahon going for it all. The Colts broke it up at the 1-yard line. Good coverage on the play. Mark Lee, number 22, and Ken Stills, number 29, and it was Lee who batted it away.
Well, Jimmy Mack just held the ball a little bit. You see Galt, he'll go right through the secondary. A good play action fake. He just runs pretty. I mean, the guy just runs by everybody. There you see him make his move past Stills. Now, Mark Lee will come in and jump, but that ball is a little bit underthrown. Jim held it just a little bit longer than he probably should have and allowed the defense to catch up to him. But that's the kind of shot you have to take. Put the crowd back in this ballgame.
So it is 2nd and 10. Some complaints from some of the Bears about quiet crowd last week. Draw play, and that is stuffed for a loss. Ross Browner stacking up Neil Anderson. And now for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Tim, as Joe Theismann well knows, you can't teach speed. Here comes Troy Johnson, the Cardinal receiver, Southern University in Baton Rouge, in for the touchdown. Good throw by Neil, too. 7-0, and not a bad dancer. Back to Tim.
That looked like the same play we just saw from McMahon, only that one scored.
That was in dry weather. That was the difference. Ball's lighter in dry weather.
3rd down at 16. Bear 49 after the loss. Good protection for McMahon. Short man Anderson dropped the ball right in his hands. Incomplete. And you can see a little rain on the top of the helmet of Jim McMahon. So that ball is going to be a little harder to catch the rest of the day.
Yeah, but it isn't really, Tim, because all the different kinds of gloves these guys wear. They've got scuba gloves, electrician's gloves, gloves with sticky insides, sticky outsides. I mean, they've got all-purpose leather gloves, so really it's not going to be a factor like it used to be when guys used to have to catch with just skin.
Some coaches would prefer they went back to skin.
Yep. Some quarterbacks would too.
From the 40-yard line, Bearcats signal by Stanley. And the Pack will start from their own 16 as they have stopped the Bears once more. Lead 7-0 here at Soldier Field, and Joe, we're talking about every player wearing gloves, all the receivers, a lot of the backs, a lot of the linemen. You mentioned that quarterbacks don't always like that.
Well, when a guy drops one, you sort of go up there and say, wouldn't you think about taking your gloves off? And then they go make a great catch and say, geez, those gloves work terrific. So, I mean, in that instance, Mac will walk over and he'll say, yeah, you ought to think about maybe changing gloves. And it does make a difference as far as the weather goes. Some of them are good for rainy weather. Some of them need to be totally dry to be effective.
There was a time here when Mike Ditka tried to get his receivers to take their gloves off after a couple of drops and fumbles. That is Brent Fullwood on the swing out there to the right side. Blockers in front of him. Todd Bell tripped him up, and he picked up the 1st down. So perfectly executed 10-yard play.
And the reason why you can run that quick screen to the right in particular is because Mike Richardson, although he was beat by Walter Stanley on that big pass, does not like to press and be at the line of scrimmage. And so you can throw the quick screen if the cornerbacks are off the wide receivers.
Ron Hallstrom has returned to his right guard position for Green Bay. 1st down, their own 27. Fullwood running hard, gets 5, maybe more. Let's call it about a 7-yard pickup over the 35. Steve McMichael and Dave Duerson combining on the hit for Chicago.
And you'll also notice that the Packers have chosen to attack that right side where they're without Hampton and without Wilson. Rivera playing, and Al Harris, who really was a linebacker, moved down to a defensive lineman. He's not as big as some of the bigger guys. You know, of course, nobody's as big as William Perry, but they're going to try and run right to where the all-pros are not.
2nd down and a long 3. Wide pro set for the Packers. Jesse Clark. Good piece of running as a 1st down for Green Bay to the 43-yard line. Duerson and Bell, the safeties, stopped them there. So Green Bay having some success with the run. It has not been their strong suit, but they at least have the Bears looking for it now.
Well, that's what happens. The Bears are an aggressive defense. So what they try and do is take advantage of that aggressive nature, let the guys come upfield, turn them one step outside, And with the weather the way it is, they can't recover as quickly and run the draws and quick hits like that one up the middle.
Fullwood batters his way and drags a tackler for an extra yard. That was Ron Rivera, who got an extra ride. Fullwood, as we mentioned at the outset, starting for Kenneth Davis, who had to go on the inactive list because of an ankle injury suffered in last week's win over Kansas City. Fullwood, the #1 pick from Auburn, felt that he was ready to go. There's the beleaguered defensive coordinator of the Bears with his #2 defense, been beleaguered by his own offense. Dennis McKinnon criticizing the coaching technique defensively of the Bears this season. Second down and 5. Fullwood gets a couple of more. Al Harris and Wilbur Marshall on the stop. It'll leave a 3rd and 2.
One thing when you try and run the football is you have to get the wide receivers involved in the blocking game. Now there's Walter Stanley. He's going to come up on Vesty Jackson. Now that's the old high duck. You know, look at my face, let me hit you in the knees type of move. It's like, I'm here, I'm there. Of course, they don't make any contact, but it sure does look good. And the defense, first of all, the wide receivers don't like to block, and that was obviously a I don't like the type of block. And the defensive backs hate to have them come at their legs.
4 wide receivers in the game for Green Bay on 3rd down, a long 2. Right to Pasquette, incomplete. Had the ball, but with the contact from Todd Bell, did not hold on, and so Green Bay will have to punt.
With Kenneth Davis hurt, Pasquette will pick up the pass-catching roles. Davis was a very good receiver. They needed somebody to come in and fill in and do the job as a receiver out of the backfield. Pasquette is a wide receiver, so they just bring him in motion to about where a back would be coming out and try and get him the ball.
Don Bracken will punt for Green Bay from his 35. McKinnon waiting for it. McKinnon, the leading returner in the NFC, takes it at the 20 and drops the ball. It looks like McKinnon got it back. It bounced off the Packer tackler right back under a fortunate Dennis McKinnon. Just a 30-yard punt for Bracken, who is having trouble kicking in this direction.
Well, McKinnon just moves up. Again, he's got the gloves on. Now, I spoke to him earlier when he was practicing returning punts. That time he took his eye off the ball, hit him in the shoulder pad, and wound up going to the ground. But also, you'll probably see him with a glove change as this game goes on and go to the more scuba gear because we have the weather. The gloves he's wearing right now are not good in wet weather.
So far, the Bears have not been able to move the football against this Green Bay defense. The Packers lead it 7-0. McMahon is 1 of 4 passing. First down from their own 20. Anderson picks his way for 3. John Anderson and Brian Noble.
The Bears need to come up with a big play. They need to either break Anderson or Peyton loose for a 15-yard gain, or else they've got to hit one of their wide receivers with some type of big play to get this crowd involved. I mentioned it earlier, and the Bear players and of course Ditka earlier in the week made some mention about how quiet they've been. Of course, they said they haven't anything to cheer about. That's why they've been quiet, and they haven't given them anything yet today to cheer about.
We're in the final seconds of the first period. Bears have 2nd and 7. McMahon, and it's picked off. Fine interception by Johnny Holland, the rookie from Texas A&M. On the full run, picks off McMahon, and the Packers deep in Chicago territory at the 26.
Well, you're going to see Bosco come across and try and make the play. Now, McMahon goes back. Bozo comes across. Good coverage. Holland just stays with him. McMahon flushed out of the pocket. That's just a great interception. Ball was down low. You want to throw it as a quarterback. You want to try and keep the ball down low. That's just a fine interception. You see him have to be moved by the pressure.
So Green Bay with a great opportunity here. Final seconds of the first quarter. They lead 7-0. Fullwood slipped as he tried to cut back. Got maybe 2 over the 15-yard line of the Bears. And that brings us to the end of this first quarter at Soldier Field. The rain starts to pick up, and so do the Packers. Brian, with Joe Theismann back here at Soldier Field. The Packers beginning the second period with a second down and 9 from the 25-yard line of Chicago, following the interception by rookie Johnny Holland. Quick drop by Wright and incomplete, intended for Stanley. A real charge from Wilber Marshall.
And you saw Randy Wright signaling to Walter Stanley to stay on your out pattern. The only time that that pattern is broken is when the cornerback rolls up. Now that time Vesti Jackson did not move up, therefore Randy Wright thought Walter Stanley was going to run the out move, and he went the other way. That could have been a big problem. They're lucky to get away with just an incompletion on that play.
Sean Gale and Maurice Douglas come into the Bears nickel defense. Rivera and Todd Bell go out. Third down and 9. 4 wide receivers. 3 of them lined up on the left side for Green Bay. Now Neal in motion. Right too high, intended for Pasquette, and the ball sailed on him. Now we talked about the sore foot did not seem to bother him on his long throw. Joe, as you watch him as the day develops, perhaps you can pick up whether or not that arch and ankle are bothering Wright at all when he plants.
He's had a full week on it. We visited with him yesterday. He said he doesn't expect it to be a problem unless he gets hit on it directly. That time he had William Perry in his face. Now obviously you can't see anybody
That's
down.
a lot of people in your face.
You can't see anybody downfield when William Perry's in your face. I mean, let's face it, that's all that was it was a good pressure by Perry.
Max Zendejas, one of the kicking Zendejas brothers, will attempt from the 33-yard line, a 43-yard attempt. And that is why the first one he's missed all season. Zendejas was 10 for 10. But the Packers come up empty following the interception by Holland.
There's the hold from Bracken. It's a good hold. Now notice he doesn't have any gloves on. He gets a true feel for the ball. Good spot. He just hooks it.
Zendejas isn't wearing gloves either, I noticed.
Well, the kickers aren't supposed to.
Jesus. First down from the 25-yard line. Maybe if he had the gloves on, he would have made it.
Maybe he puts one on. You know, he has to weigh himself down so it doesn't hook left.
First down, Chicago, 25-yard line. Deep drop from McMahon. He's got Galt. First down to the 49-yard line of the Bears.
McMahon does such a good job. He sets, he looks to the right and comes back. Now there's Galt. He's lined up on Dave Brown, who has been a great acquisition for the Packers to help, but he's given him so much cushion. That's what speed does for you. Now Galt just makes a simple turn in and makes the catch. I watched him practice on Friday, and you'd watch him turn it on, and he just, like I said before, he's just pretty to watch run. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable.
First down, Bears at their 49 after McMahon completes it to Willie Galt. Well, that one in the general direction of Galt, but there may have been a miscue on that pattern.
Well, not really. That time they said, okay, Willie Galt, you beat us the play before. Now we're going to double cover you. So what happened is Dave Brown was up in front, up near him, jamming him at the line of scrimmage. Ken Stills backed him up. And McMahon tried to put the ball in between the two of them. He actually put the ball where it was, but you got to give credit to Dave Brown for clogging up Willie Galt at the line of scrimmage.
Second and 10 from the 49-yard line. Boso comes in for Moorhead. Now check it. It's an extra wide receiver on second and 10. 3 wide receivers in, the tight end out. And good protection. Sideliner for McKinnon. He's got it. No, out of bounds. Caught the ball, and he is unhappy, saying he had 2 feet in.
Well,
officials disagree.
He said he had a foot and a drag, which is like 2 feet. You know, he'll catch the ball. You'll see his left foot go down, and now this is a tap or a drag. You see the left foot? There's the left foot down now. See him drag? That's a good catch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the official missed that one by a country mile.
Absolutely got that toe in.
Actually, the official was looking closer to the line of scrimmage than his foot actually hit inbounds. That was an excellent reception by Dennis McKinnon. Look, the left foot is down. That's 3 feet from the sidelines. The drag is 4 feet from the sidelines. The official is looking at the sidelines.
Well, they're now reviewing an instant replay. Ralph Moorcroft.
Oh, this will be
the
over.
same pictures you have just seen.
There's no question this one will be overruled.
Repeating, Paul Marbach, M-A-R-B-A-C-H. Please report.
Dick Jorgensen on the field will get the call.
What happened, interestingly enough, is the official was looking close to the sideline. You could almost see his head looking at where the sideline and the field are. And Dennis touched his feet so far in that he didn't have a chance to see his other foot get dragged or come down.
Long discussion going on here.
That can't be a...
14, Atlanta 7.
They're picking it up, or are they? Yes, they are. Well, they've got a little problem here on the microphone. Can you read lips?
I can't. He says it's good. He said it's good.
After review, I got that much, and then I saw him signal a catch. So we know, because they moved the ball upfield, that they ruled it good.
We knew even before they did.
Third down and a long 2. The ball is now at the 44-yard line of Green Bay. Packers lead it 7-0. A 1-yard touchdown by Fullwood after a long bomb from Randy Wright to Walter Stanley of 66 yards. Showing blitz. McMahon gets it off, incomplete, intended for Gentry. Flag downfield near Gentry, and McMahon slow to get up. He took a real shot. Ross Browner had the charge on him.
Well, you'll see the Packers are bringing everybody. Anderson steps up. He tries to get rid of it once. Now he comes in. Browner lands on him. He manages to get that shoulder out of the way. Now Tiger Green's in coverage on Dennis Gentry. He's looking at the ball, but he pushes him at the last minute to try and get up for the ball. That was an interference call. Jimmy Mack got to fix, you know, on a hit like that, you got to fix your headband.
Well, they're going to have a 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. He had more than his headband scrambled on that shot.
Yeah.
He had the full weight of Browner on him.
Come on, baby, come on.
Alvin Thomas in motion. Play action. Wide open at the 20. Dennis McKinnon. Nice looking play, Joe.
Oh boy, what does speed do for you? You're going to see the play action fake to Walter Payton. Now, Jimmy McMahon is really hiding the ball well. He'll fake to the left to Payton. You see Thomas coming in motion. There it is. The little fake freezes everybody, and you'll see on the right of your screen how wide open is McKinnon. Lee is still going back when the camera gets to him. You can't give a guy 7-8 yard cushions.
Packers have brought in Jerry Boyarsky to give Ross Browner a breather. Boyarsky, number 61 on the nose. First down, Bears at the 20-yard line of Green Bay. McKinnon to Anderson, Neil Anderson. McMahon to Neil Anderson, touchdown. Number 35, the second-year man from Florida. 20-yard touchdown.
Again, it comes off the misdirection in the play action pass. McMahon doing an excellent job. That time they moved him out of the pocket a little bit, give him a little bit more breathing room, puts the ball perfectly where it has to be.
Kevin Butler with the point after try. He nailed that about halfway up into the end zone seats at Soldier Field, and we're tied at 7.
Well, you're going to see Walter Payton's, again, we're going to fake him. McMahon's going to move out. Anderson's going to go and come all the way across the line. There's the fake inside. Now from the left of your screen, here comes Anderson. Now perfect throw right in the hole. Good throw.
13:33 remaining in the first half with a tie at 7. Top riders in the world will be in competition. Brian Wagner A good kickoff through the end zone for the Bears, kicking for Kevin Butler, who pulled a groin muscle during the week, during practice, and is not taking the kickoffs.
On that last touchdown pass, what you're going to see is this is a zone defense. That's the soft area. You'll see Neil Anderson come around and run right into that area. McMahon throw it, and they get the old TD. Little play action fake to hold them. If you're going to attack a zone, you want crossing patterns. Let people move through the area. You see that dead area underneath the secondary between the linebackers? Does a good job of getting in the end zone.
Well, we had an infraction on the kickoff, offside against the Bears, evidently. So Brian Wagner, the punter, will get a chance to show his kickoff wares again. He was happy with that one through the end zone. Bears went 75 yards in 5 plays for their score. McMahon to Neil Anderson. And last week, McMahon sacked 7 times by the Lions, even though they won the game handily. A little problem with the number of injuries in the offensive line, and today, so far, they've done a good job. Browner got to him after he'd released the ball for about the only real serious lick they'd have on him. But Bears never lose their sense of humor. Line coach Dick Stankel was featured as Employee of the Week at Bear headquarters. He had a cartoon up on the wall, and his caption accompanying it said, "Only 8 sacks, Employee of the Week." From the 15 this time, Kelly Cook gets to the 29-yard line of Green Bay. And for an NFL update, let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Tim, while Chicago was scoring, this happened in Pittsburgh. The one thing you cannot do against the Steelers, Hebert does. Bad pass, Dwayne Woodruff. This is the 4th time this year the Steelers have intercepted a pass and run it in for a touchdown. 7-3 Steelers over the Saints. Back to Tim.
New Orleans, one of the real stories in the NFL this year, trying to catch San Francisco in the NFC West. The Bears trying to stay ahead of the Minnesota Vikings in the Central Division. They're tied at 7 here in Chicago. Right for Stanley. He's got it. Is he inbounds? No. Stanley, the signal indicates, did not have full possession. Inbounds. Incomplete.
Well, you can remember on the big pass reception he had earlier, he caught the ball and really didn't have possession, but didn't get out of bounds. Now, Randy Wright throwing very well, puts the ball right where it should be. Again, he's up top of Richardson. You see him have the ball, but just bouncing it around off his helmet into his arms, and a good call by the official.
Walter Stanley. Well, there's a
Who is that?
unfamiliar face at a football game in Chicago.
He's
John
dressed
McEnroe.
He's dressed right, though.
He sure is. 2nd and 10. McEnroe eliminated from that Ersatz tennis competition yesterday. Wright intended for Fullwood, and that is incomplete. William Perry had a pretty good rush on Wright that time. Wright, you can see, looks a little punchy. He wears a protector underneath his jersey.
And well, he should. He's played against the Bears almost every game, every year he's been in the league. All the years he's been in the league, he's played except 1 game against the Bears. We talked to him on Friday about it, and he said, hey, if there's one team I know and I don't get intimidated by, it's the Bears, because they beat me around so much.
He's got a 3rd and 10 facing him here, and they're 1 for 5 in this department. Good protection, and that is intercepted. Dave Duerson at the Bear 41. Well, a fan looking in says to Joe Theismann, quarterback fault or receiver fault?
Got to be, I'm guessing it's receiver fault. You'll see right in the pocket, he gets great protection. Marshall coming on, Perry coming on, McMichael coming on. Now he looks right and then hangs it out left. Only thing I can figure is that the receiver just did not get down the field. Keith Pasquette was supposed to be down the field. Now that's got to be a quarterback throw. You see, he's not looking for a receiver. He's not running over and trying to straighten something out. So you got to figure the quarterback's got to accept that responsibility for a bad pass. Because if it was their fault, you go find them, believe me.
Dave Duerson says, thanks for the Thanksgiving Day gift. Bears have it 1st down at their 40-yard line. Payton, nowhere to run. Hit his blocker first, and then with his own effort, picked up 2. For another NFL update, let's go to Brent in New York.
Well, Tim, the Eagles were trailing the Patriots 7-3. Then Randall Cunningham took over. On the roll, 61-yard touchdown play here. Quick's the receiver. Then on 4th and goal, Cunningham snuck in. It is 17-7 Eagles. Back to Tim and Joe.
Joe, I know you love watching Randall Cunningham. You were talking about the difficulty of throwing on the run to your left. He sure made it look easy.
Yeah, I know. He just takes and shoots that theory out the window.
Oh, what a gun that kid has. 2nd down and 8. Loose ball. McMahon covers. No, the Packers say they have it, and they do. Brian Noble, 3rd-year linebacker, came up with a loose ball. Something happened between Hilgenberg and McMahon on the exchange.
You got to remember, Jay Hilgenberg is playing with on his left arm. You see how it's taped? That's a harness holding his shoulder in. McMahon just takes a snap, and the ball comes out. I mean, he starts back. It looks fairly clean, and the ball never quite gets there. Now that, I believe, has a little bit to do with the soreness of the shoulders. That's when it can affect a center.
So the Green Bay Packers get the ball right back after coughing up the intercept. Fullwood, good hold. Glenn Fullwood gets about 8. Down to the 32-yard line. Fullwood off to a good start.
Well, you know, looking at the running plays as far as the Packers go, they take advantage, again, of the aggressiveness of the Bears. A lot of times, Bears will run by people. They're so intent on trying to get to the quarterback. They're so locked up in trying to get into the backfield that runners just run right by them.
2nd and 2, Green Bay. Fullwood with 26 yards on 8 carries. Fullwood again. Hit behind the line, but he'll be close to the 1st down. Wilbur Marshall put the lick on him. Depending on the spot, it could be another Packer 1st down.
No, they've got to go over the 31 to get their 1st down. So
it's short by a yard, a little less. 3rd down.
See at the top of your screen, you always look at that little orange tape. As a quarterback, that's what you're looking at to find out how far you have to go.
Tight end in motion. They'll run behind him. Fullwood. Flag down on the play. Tripped up by William Perry. Appeared to be right at the spot he needed to get to. But a flag downfield, and it's against Green Bay.
Holding, number 57, offense, still 3rd down.
Rich Moran, the left guard, charged with holding.
Well, that's what happens when you get those offensive linemen out around and end a little bit. I mean, you know, they get these little defensive backs, and the only thing they can do is grab onto them because they're not as big as the offensive linemen.
Tom Neville comes in, and that's not because Moran got the holding call. It's because it's a passing down. And Neville plays on the passing down in most cases. That left guard, number 72. 3rd down, 11. Wright steps up, has a man open. That's Neal, Frankie Neal. 1st down, Green Bay at the 23-yard line. Neal unhappy that he slipped down, but he got the 1st down.
This is, again, good protection by that Packer front 5. There you see Marshall. He's a designated rusher. McMichael outside. They just run everybody off the cup around the outside. Frankie Neal with the reception. Talking to Randy Wright. So the one thing about Frankie Neal is as long as he gets where he's supposed to get, he's a heck of a receiver. But sometimes he freelances just a little bit.
That's the rookie from Fort Hays State. Started his college career at Florida with Kerwin Bell. Looks like he's going to be a good one. Fullwood, hard running by the rookie inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Well, you're not supposed to be able to run against the Chicago Bears, but Green Bay has had pretty good success between the tackles.
Well, what they're doing is they're allowing the ends to come upfield, and with the Bears' philosophy, they're not having their safeties and their linebackers as close to the line of scrimmage as they have in previous years. So you're really only running against 4 or 5 men up front, as opposed to what most people are used to seeing the Bears have 8 or 9 near the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 5. Fullwood off tackle. Carries Wilbur Marshall with him, struggling trying to get to the marker. short by about 1.5 yards. It'll be 3rd down. Brent Fullwood, the rookie from Auburn, said, "I'm not unhappy playing behind Kenneth Davis. I'm getting to know this offense week by week, and all of a sudden Davis is hurt and Fullwood's doing the job." We're at Soldier Field with 9 minutes to play under cloudy skies here in Chicago. Rain falling intermittently. Green Bay struck first in this game. And a big pass from right to Walter Stanley, setting up the touchdown by Fullwood. The Bears tied it up on a pass from McMahon to Neil Anderson. Paul Ott-Carruth trying for the 1st down, and it would appear he has it.
Looks like one of those rugby matches, doesn't it? Where everybody just gets in there and sticks their nose together, and then the ball is on the bottom. The guy with the ball is on the bottom somewhere.
Well, there's more of that kind of scrum look here than I think anybody anticipated. The Packers running the ball and running it reasonably effectively. They've got 46 yards already, and that's 4 more than they had in the entire game in the first meeting.
I
with Green Bay.
think the Bears didn't expect them to run. And sometimes if you prepare for somebody to come in and throw the ball and they do the opposite, it takes a while for you to adjust.
1st down, Green Bay, threatening at the Packer 13, at the Bear 13. Fullwood. Inside, a huge hole on the right side between Hallstrom and Weingrad. Singletary and Rivera made the tackle.
What you're going to see is right out here, Richard Dent is not in the pass, in the rushing. He's going to drop back off in the pass coverage, which really emphasizes what I tried to say. They expect the Packers to pass on 1st down. Now, Dent's nowhere to be found. That's Al Harris out there. And you see how they're taking outside rushes? They don't expect the Packers to run. They just figure, hey, they're not going to. And it's taken, the Bears are going to have to change their approach.
Goal line defense in on 2nd and 1 yard for a 1st down. Fullwood hit behind the line by Marshall. Little, if any, gain on that play. Dick Chapura in on it as well, the rookie from Missouri, number 94.
Sean Smith, Rivera, Marshall, Perry, McMichael. Everybody wanted a piece of him on that one.
Joey Hackett has come in to make a double tight end formation. Tom Neville in at left guard for Green Bay. 3rd down and a long yard. And timeout is called by the Packers.
See, now that's all right by a quarterback. Yet 7 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the half. You're potentially in a scoring situation, so you can use that timeout.
Make sure you get the right play and don't make a mistake. We're tied at 7 at Soldier Field. On the left, trying to stop the offensive Forrest Gregg on 3rd down, and 1.5 yards for a 1st down. Wright going for the score. Incomplete. Intended for Joey Hackett, the tight end, number 89.
Good play by Al Harris, using all that 6'5" height of his. He's 270 pounds. He's out in pass coverage. And we talked about him being moved down with Hampton being hurt, and he does such a fine job. Both their ends drop off. The play before, Dent dropped off. This time we saw Harris drop off and make the play.
Well, Max Zendejas will attempt from the 13-yard line, a 23-yard try. And it's good, but a flag on the play. A flag down.
There's a flag on the play.
There it is, that lonely little flag.
Holding against the Packers will make it a little longer for Zendejas.
You wouldn't believe that little yellow thing.
99, kicking team, 10 yards, still 4th down.
You wouldn't believe that little yellow thing can stop coaches' hearts from beating, would you? Just that little hanky out there.
Now, penalties have plagued Green Bay. They've got a lot of youngsters and a lot of eager players trying to respond to Forrest Gregg. John Dorsey got the penalty on that play. There he is, number 99, reserve linebacker. So it's out at the 23-yard line and makes it a 33-yard attempt. Zendejas gets that one. So Max Zendejas delivers the goods for Green Bay, and they take a 10-7 lead, quieting the crowd here at Soldier Field with 6:58 still to play here in the second quarter. A wet, drizzly afternoon in Chicago. I mean, I really think he would be a great choice because of the fact that he's been able to do so much, play every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Green Bay will pick it up. Zendejas. Gentry at the 10. Flag down at the 35. Vernell Denton on the hit for the Packers. Let's see who gets this penalty. And it's going to be against the Bears on the return.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist. Number 92, receiving team, 15 yards, 1st and 10.
Paul Miliazzo, rookie linebacker, number 92, penalized for the Bears, so it moves the ball back to the 19-yard line.
The result of the penalty, the Bears will start 1st and 10.
There you see the average yards on 1st down. Now Chicago 10.5. That really puts a defense in a hole. You know, they're keeping Green Bay on their heels. The Packers only 5.2, but they've really tried to run the ball more than I think the Bears expected.
Well, still, with the exception of the one drive, the Bears have not been able to do much. Green Bay's defense in this first half. Play action. Moorhead holds onto the ball for a 1st down Bears at the 38. Johnny Holland and Mark Murphy both had him in their sights, but a good wrap on him. But the veteran Moorhead held on.
That's a perfect throw. McMahon will turn around. You see Anderson going in motion to the left, make the fake to Walter Payton. Almost everything the Bears do come off of play action. Now he just puts the ball perfectly. Perfect timing, excellent strike. You want to try and keep it within the chest area of a receiver so he can protect the ball.
19-yard gain and a 1st down. For Morris, incomplete. Ron Morris, the intended receiver, just got a gloved hand on it. Couldn't bring it in.
McMahon will go back in the pocket. Now Broyarski, who's coming in on the pass rush, you'll see him from the left side of your screen, come flying in and just put pressure on McMahon. Just does make him, see, you can't take that step forward. And if you can't take the step forward, you lose a lot of accuracy with your throw, particularly on deep passes. And that's what happened on that play.
You could even see him pull his leg back as he saw the impact was coming. And McMahon takes a timeout with 5:50 to play here in the first half. Green Bay by 3.
Out. Mike Ditka started stomping around on the sidelines. That's the second time they've had a miscommunication from the sidelines to the quarterback. And you can't be throwing timeouts around this close, this far away from halftime.
Not much new about that circumstance. The Bears, 2nd and 10. And rolling this time behind protection up the sideline, complete to Ron Morris. 1st down, Chicago at the 41 of Green Bay.
Well, the Bears showing a lot of respect for that Packer rush. They're rolling Jim McMahon out. Now, this is a designed rollout. He's looking upfield. Now, you see at the top of your screen how Morris pushes the defensive back up the field and comes back. Now, you can't get much closer to the sidelines than that. That's a great job. I don't know. Looked awful close.
Oh, it looked like he was in. I don't think there was any doubt about that. 1st down at the 41. Moorhead in motion. Anderson, good defensive play by Tim Harris. Number 97. Looked like he had that one drawn up in his mind and was waiting for the ball carrier.
Well, they were working on a misdirection play, and he didn't take the misdirection. He just went in his own direction. The Bears have to start playing good football because you can see what they have left the next 4 weeks. Got Minnesota in Minnesota, San Francisco at San Francisco, Seattle at home, and of course the Raiders in Los Angeles. So 3 out of 4 weeks are on the road. And that's why I'm sure Mike Ditka wants to get his running game going so he can be able to hold the ball and keep it away from those offenses.
Second down and 13. And despite their fine record, they haven't beaten a winning team with the regulars. McMahon is hit hard and sacked. Ezra Johnson had him low, and then another Packer got a real good lick on him. That's what got everybody stirred up out there.
Alfonso Carricker came on and just nailed him high. Now, I'm surprised Jim can still see the sidelines with that shot. This again is that design sprint out. He's in the pocket now. He just rolls to the left. The line will continue to go out. A good job by Ezra Johnson to contain him. Now he gets a hold of him and pow! Ouch!
Yeah, well, didn't see Carricker coming at all.
That'll clean the cobwebs out. Now obviously the offensive linemen, they don't like Jimmy to get hurt.
Becker is trying to get a word into Tim Harris. A good defensive play by the Pack. It was a Pack sack. Third down. Drop play. And is Gentry still going? To the 7-yard line. A flag down, however. Tiger Green finally got him, but a holding penalty against Chicago. Wiping out a sterling effort by Dennis Gentry.
But you just can't discount that effort. You're so right, Tim. He breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles.
Holding number 62, offense. Still third down.
Mark Bortz, and he doesn't feel real good right about now.
Right there. He's going to hang on, and then Gentry's not going to be able to make that run. Make it count. You see, Bortz, you can't just, there's the right arm. You just can't hang on like that. You got to keep that arm inside. Again, we talked about all the injuries up front by the Bears, and Gentry just does a great individual job of making all the yardage on his own.
Now, they'll bring him in on that third down long passing situation and occasionally run that draw because he has been a running back during his career.
And it's surprising, too, because you're so limited in the plays you can run from the shotgun.
But it's third and longer for the Bears. McMahon got lots of time and can't find an open man. He'll run it. Pushed out of bounds at the 45 by Harris. Got back some real estate, but they're well short. It'll leave 4th and about 14.
And that's a good quarterback decision. Jimmy Mack showing real presence of where he is on the field. What he's going to allow his punter to do, he's going to say, all right, Brian Wagner, you go out, kick them deep, let the defense go out and hold them, and give us good field position and come back, instead of throwing the ball upfield and risking an interception.
Brian Wagner, he's got his gloves off for the punt.
The kickers aren't allowed to do that. I mean, they can't do that. Well, that would be embarrassing. The kickers have one.
Well, they run over to the sidelines and put them on as soon as they get off the field. Wagner's punt inside the 5 and through the end zone.
The back is the Packers. 1st and 10.
So Green Bay will start from their 20-yard line with 3:31 remaining here in the first half and a 10-7 lead, CBS, and we've got this big game upcoming for you. The New York Giants and the Washington Redskins. Some of you will see Tampa Bay and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams improving, but for the Washington Redskins, a key battle against the Super Bowl champions.
And a quarterback change. Jay Schrader will be starting for Washington. Of course, Phil Simms will be back for the Giants.
Doug Williams injured his back during practice this week. First down, Green Bay here at Soldier Field. Fullwood gets about 3. Mike Singletary makes the tackle. Richard Dent in on it as well.
Just the presence of speed helps a running game. The Packers have got Walter Stanley, Frankie Neal, Philip Epps, all very, very fast receivers. It's forcing the Bears to spread out and try and double cover somebody. And it's allowing the running game of the Packers to be able to pick up yardage. There you saw how many yards Fullwood has already.
Second down and 7. Yeah, he's outrushed the entire Bear effort thus far. Sack at the 16. Dent, who had 2 a week ago, gets one against Randy Wright.
Last time the Packers played the Bears, Randy Wright managed to get through the game unsacked, but it's not going to happen today.
Richard Dent, feeling the sarcastic wrath of Mike Ditka in recent weeks, said Richard hasn't, he's been playing more like Robert Dent. Robert hasn't been playing like Richard, but last week he showed him.
Got his name back.
Got 2 sacks against the Lions, and he has 1 here today. 3rd down, 14. High snap fielded by Wright, and Fullwood dropped by Singletary, and aroused Bear defense.
And Singletary knew what the play was going to be. Just before the snap, you could see he recognized the formation, started pointing, and as soon as the ball was snapped, boom, he shot up and met the ball carrier in the backfield.
His teammate, center Jay Hilgenberg, calls him a human curve. That's what it's like running into Singletary.
Well, we talked to Frankie Neal yesterday, too. He said it was he hit him with such a block it hurt his own emotion.
We'll be back. Green Bay by 3. 2 minutes remaining.
So to know that the defense knows. Now, Singletary's signaling. Now he's telling the guy to go in motion. He says, go in motion. I know where you're going to be. And bam! Let me come up and nail you.
From the 5-yard line, Bracken's punt. McKinnon at the Bear 45. To the Packer 41. Dennis McKinnon. And with 1:49 remaining in the first half, the Bears in good field position, trailing by 3. Well, at halftime on the NFL Today, Brendan Irv will bring you up to date with scores and highlights from around the league. And Dennis Quaid makes a football movie. Finds out how tough it is to do. The NFL Today will fill you in on that and more at halftime.
Bo Jackson's found out how hard it is to be a hobby. This is sort of told the tale today. You see, the Packers really want to try and run the football. Now, this is on 1st down and only thrown 3 times. The Bears have balanced it out a little more. Earlier in the first quarter, they came out and ran. Now they've started to open up their game plan a little bit.
And 7 of 13 to date, 130 yards. Incomplete. Galt went in. The pass went out.
McMahon to Galt. Incomplete. Coverage.
McMahon's not happy. I mean, that's an understatement. I said, wait, come on back here. Let's regroup and get this thing reorganized. This is the one area I have seen such a tremendous improvement in Jim McMahon. And not that he didn't do it well, but to be able to take charge of the game at the end of a half and at the end of the football game. In those latter 2 minutes, he has really shown himself to be a quality quarterback.
Well, the fact is, if the Bears did not have that kind of performance from him late in games and halves, they wouldn't have the record they have. McMahon for Galt, overthrown. Pressure on him that time. Led by Carricker, number 76.
Again, now Jimbo Covert's blocking on Robert Brown and Tim Harris, and Carricker from the other side, but Covert's got that left arm, and as a blocker, when he plays the left tackle, he used to just stick his left arm out and be able to take that defensive end on, so he didn't have a problem. Now all of a sudden, with that harness on his left shoulder, and you see it right there in your shot, that harness allows his arm only to come away about 6 inches from his shoulder. So he can't really get it out, so he's got to take him on with his hands in front of him, and it just makes it more difficult to pass block.
Gentry in the backfield on 3rd down for Chicago. Good catch by Payson, short of the 1st down. Tackle made by the linebacker, number 59, John Anderson.
I'd say he's got to go for it.
It'll be 4th and 2.
Yeah, he's got to go for it.
Ball is at the 33-yard line.
There you see how many times the Bears go for it. 17 times they've gone for it on 4th down. Of course, the Packers' opponents have only gone for it 10, but that has a lot to do with the confidence you have in your defense to stop the opponent as well.
Payton, another fine catch for the 1st down. Walter the Great spinning around, one hands that right in front of Anderson. 27-yard line of Green Bay, 40 seconds remaining. Willie Galt out of bounds at the 13.
No, they're going to call him down inbounds and continue to keep the clock running. It's down to 26 seconds. Don't forget, the Bears have only one timeout left. McMahon wants to get the play off. He's got this thing well under control.
Morris to the 4. Timeout called. 7 seconds on the clock. First half. Stills and Lee made the tackle on Morris.
Now, this is an interesting decision by Mike Ditka. 7 seconds really is enough time to be able to snap and throw the ball to try for a touchdown. You simply instruct Jim McMahon, if the guy isn't there, you're going to have to make sure the ball hits the ground and it's an incompletion in a real quick period of time, 4 or 5 seconds. So it's either going to be a quick slant. If he's not there, throw it in the ground, or else try and kick the field goal now. I would think that they're going to try for the touchdown.
You're suggesting that if they get an incompletion, there would still be time for a field goal.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. But it's going to be on the shoulders of Jim McMahon to possibly, instead of even being in the shotgun, come up under center, take the snap so that you can get the ball and get rid of it quick. He has to be conscious of the time more so than anybody.
All right, he's going to throw the ball, Joe. Is it a rollout or a quick step and throw?
Quick step and throw. You can't roll out here. It would take too much time. See, if he did get sacked and the ball carries too far in the air, the officials can't stop the clock right away.
7 seconds. Shotgun. Incomplete. The Bears come up empty as John Anderson makes the defensive dive to knock down the pass, I believe, intended for Dennis Gentry.
Absolutely, and Dennis Gentry had gotten to the back of the end zone and would have been there. Now, instead of trying to fire the ball, Jimmy Mack saw him so open that he tried to ease it out. You'll see him come from the right of your screen. Now, Noble's just hanging with him and jumps up and knocks it down. But there you see Gentry in the back. He knew he had the touchdown.
Well, it used up only 3 seconds. So Butler from the 12-yard line has tied the game. 22-yard field goal for Kevin Butler. A fun-filled final minute and a half. We have a 10-10 tie at Soldier Field in Chicago. Hey, skies this November afternoon, not as cold as it frequently is this time of year in Chicago by Lake Michigan. Temperatures in the low 40s, but it is the kind of dismal day that suits the mood of a Bear-Packer tilt, and we are dead even. We'll have a new game for the next 30 minutes of play. The Packers have rushed fairly effectively, as we mentioned, 63 yards. That's not tremendous, but on the other hand, the Bears, who wanted to rush Joe Theismann, have got only 39 rushing. They've outpassed Green Bay 164-90.
Well, they came out in the beginning and they said, okay, we want to run the football. So on the first 2 possessions, they ran it on 1st and 2nd down, gained virtually nothing. And the crowd wasn't in the game. Everything was sort of quiet. Then they started to open the game up a little bit. They've gotten back into their rhythm, and they're playing much better football. This is an amazing statistic. Randy Wright came out, hit that big pass to Walter Stanley, and really hasn't been heard of since. Much of the 97 yards was on one play, and, of course, one of the 3 completions. Jim McMahon, on the other hand, is starting to gain momentum and get into the feel of the game. You see, he's 11 for 20. One of the statistics that's very interesting is of the Bears' 5 third-down plays, the average yard they've had to pick up is 11.3 yards. And for the Green Bay's 8 third-down plays, their average gain has had to have been 9.4 yards. So they're making it tough on 3rd down for everybody.
A short kickoff by the Bears, recovered by Kelly Cook at the 23-yard line. And a flag well after the play. Some pushing and shoving going on down there after the play. And flags flew. Bestie Jackson getting into it with one of the Packers. Couldn't see who the opponent was in that one-rounder. Still a lot of jawing going on down there.
Well, they're pleading their case. You know, it's like, it depends who's going to get the penalty, and you've got to get in and say it wasn't me, it was the other guy, and hopefully you can influence the officials. Never seen it happen before.
That would be a first. Dick Jorgensen is the referee. Personal foul being signaled against the Bears, and it may be an ejection. If that second signal was the one I thought, they have thrown a Bear out of the football game.
Let's
Todd
be
Bell
sure.
down there.
Bell is furious, and he was a fired-up guy when we talked to him on Friday, eager to prove himself to the
Well, he went
Bears defensive staff that he
not
could
only
be
that,
an all-pro type player.
he also went in and had a talk with Coach Ditka about the way he's played, and the two of them had a conversation, and he just said, look, I'm going to go out and play today like I'm going to make this an all-pro day. I haven't been playing the kind of football I'm capable of doing, and today is the day I start.
Personal foul, 24 on the kicking team for slugging. 15 yards, first down.
Well, we don't hear the ejection, so that second signal may not have been for that reason, but it's Vesty Jackson slugging. That's a pretty graphic description.
Not hitting, slugging.
Right.
That means he just didn't hit somebody. He wailed off and decked him. Right on the left side of your screen, number 24. There he is right there. This is where the penalty's going to come from. You see him come in. Now, you know, you get up in the face, you get up in the face, you get up in the face, and then pow! That's what's known as slugging.
That is a dumb slug. All you're getting is a lot of hard helmet.
I know.
Jim Bob Morris was the victim, but he had his headgear on, so the victim turns out to be Vesty Jackson, and the Bears, a 15-yard advance for the Packers on the kickoff. They are at their own 38 to start the second half. Now, Forrest Gregg must have asked a question of Dick Jorgensen, and maybe he saw what appeared to be the ejection signal that we thought we saw.
He's listening intently. I don't know if he's going to hear what he wants to hear, though.
Well, I got 15 yards. That's pretty good.
All right, okay, he's satisfied. You don't ever see that, though, very often. Head coach says, shake his head, okay, I'm satisfied.
Well, you know, one thing about Forrest Gregg that's evident now in our talk with him yesterday, he's a much more relaxed and I think a happier head coach this year with the Packers. He's got his own team going in the direction he wants them to go. He thinks that they're on their way to better things, better times. First down play to Paul Otton-Carruth, trying off tackle right, and gets about 3 yards. Al Harris pulled him down.
You know, on that same note, Tim, you talk to the Chicago Bears, and they have a lot more respect for the Green Bay Packers. They think they're a much improved football team as well. Now, there's Mr. Intensity. It's a good thing this field's 100 yards long, because he uses up most of that turf pacing on the sidelines.
I'm sure they've done some research on how many packs of gummy goes through in the game, too. Second down and 7. Right to Philip Epps. Did not get a whole lot on that play, only a couple of yards. Mike Richardson on the coverage.
There you see where Green Bay started. Actually, they have not had bad field position. That's quite a few possessions in the first half. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 possessions, and they wind up with a field goal, the TD, missed field goal, interception. They just haven't had the ball a long time. Here again, they're starting out with good field position on the 38.
Keith Pasquette comes in offensively on third down and 5. Well, let's call it a long 4. And Patrick Scott makes his first appearance, a rookie wide receiver from Grambling, number 83. The middle complete to Neal. Frankie Neal has a first down, but a flag down back behind the line, and judging by the reaction, it's going to be against the Bears.
They're going to call a personal foul on roughing the quarterback.
Frankie Neal, meanwhile, hobbles to the
Personal
sideline.
foul, roughing the passer, 48, a blow to the head. First down.
Reggie Phillips, number 48.
Now you're
quarterback.
You're going to get a chance to see it right here. You just can't hit the guy in the head. There you see the shot. Now, it may not seem like much, but it's one area the officials have really, really, really tightened down on. And if you're going to have to play smart football, you have to realize you just can't come into anybody's head.
So it's first down, Green Bay, and they are now at the 24-yard line of the Chicago Bears without having done much to get there.
2 big penalties have eaten up a lot of yards for him.
Fullwood
for 2.
Well, that's a mistake. Look at what fell on him.
The fridge fell on him.
Well, it was interesting. You know, Dennis McKinnon, what we saw it earlier in the show on the NFL Today when he was talking about the Packers don't blitz the kitchen sink like they used to. No, the Bears don't blitz the kitchen sink. Of course not. They bring refrigerators in. With Otis Wilson out, William Perry has now had to stay in and play on 3rd downs. And there's a difference between a rush from a Wilson and a rush from a Perry.
2nd and 9 for the Packers. Just gets it off, complete, nice catch. And it is Richardson trying to strip it from Epps, but Philip Epps maintains possession. And a 1st down. Green Bay at the Bear 21.
Here they come with the blitz. Now they're starting to put the pressure on. You'll see Singletary come, which creates the holding penalty. But yeah, Singletary moves outside. There comes Rivera. Now, there's the catch, okay? Epps has got the ball, but so does Richardson. They come down. A tie goes to the receiver.
But meanwhile, a holding penalty against the Pack.
And we talked about how many times Randy Wright has played against the Bears. There he gets the ball off, but pow! Rivera letting him know that he's not just out there passing time, filling in for Wilson. And actually, talking to Coach Ditka, he says that's the one thing that Rivera does very well. We haven't utilized his ability, and that's as a blitzer.
2nd and 20. Batted down by Wilbur Marshall. Even Forrest Gregg said yesterday, if the Bears are up, really highly motivated, as I expect my team to be, said the Bears ought to win. Right now, they've got better people, more talent than we have. On the other hand, if my guys are as up as I think they'll be and the Bears aren't, we've got a chance to win the game. Right now, it appears Chicago, Joe, is fired up.
They have raised the level of play considerably from the beginning of the game.
3rd down and long. Fullwood. Inside the 25, but 4th down. Phillips forced him out.
That's such a smart decision by Randy Wright. He saw he was in the open field, but, you know, once you get hit enough, you finally decide that you're not going to be able to pick up a 1st down. Why not give it to a back? Besides that, you're not going to get hit, and he is. So just dump it off and give him a chance to run with it.
Brent Fullwood, who's been going the distance for the injured Kenneth Davis, has just been doing some filling in for Davis, but Fullwood's been a busy man.
Well,
Max Sendejas will attempt the field goal from the 41-yard line, a 51-yard try, has a long of 48 for the season.
The wind is really not a factor here today. The only thing that might hold it down would be the dampness of the ball.
Blocked. Noble recovers. Bears ball at the 49. Looked like Todd Bell came up the middle to block the field goal try.
And he doesn't even get a chance to get his hands on this one. I think this one hits him in the head, right up the middle. You're going to see the Bears just put a ton of pressure. There he comes around, and there's Bell, and it just hits him right on the right shoulder in the head area. Sendejas trying to get the ball the distance, and that happens so often for soccer kickers, soccer-style kickers. When they have to kick a long ball, they can't get the ball up in the air over the line as easily.
So the Bears, with a big play, had the ball. McMahon out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Green Bay, chased by Brian Noble.
And you saw him wave as he scrambled that. That's telling his receivers, go upfield. If I get a chance, I'll put it up to you. That time he didn't.
See McMahon looking for the signal of the next play from the sideline.
That signal will come in from Mike Tomczak or Jim Harbaugh, depending upon who they designate as the one that has to do it.
2nd down and 3. short of the first down. They'll need about a half yard. Let's get another NFL update from Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Tim, the New Orleans Saints on the comeback trail here in the second half against the Steelers. Mays gets it over to the corner now, and they trail the Steelers by 4 points. If New Orleans comes back and wins this game, they guarantee their first winning season ever. Back to Tim.
It is 10-10 here at Soldier Field. We're in the third period. A dreary day, but the rain has just started again in light form.
Well, you see what the Bears have done the second half.
Peyton trying for the first down, reaches out in that patented style of his.
I think if there's one back that I would want to have the ball in that short yardage situation, it would be Walter Payton, because there's so many ways that he can get the first down for you.
Onside, number 79, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Ross Browner charged with offside, so they got it both ways.
He's going to be right on the nose, and he just jumps. Jim McMahon all week has used the long count a little bit. The hard count gets Ross Browner to make the step. It's easy 5 yards. That's really the mark, I think, of a quarterback totally in command of his game. Knowing when to throw the ball, knowing when to go out of bounds, knowing how to use your snap count. Jim McMahon has just become a complete and total quarterback, and it shows.
Well, he's still 2 restaurants behind you, though. First down. Go deep sideline. He's got McKinnon. First down, Bears in the 20-yard line. Mark Lee on the coverage made the tackle.
Again, just a fine job up front. Jimbo Covert on the right part of your screen doing the protection, as well as Bortz, Hilgenberg, Thayer, and Van Horn. Off the play action fake. You see the fake hold the linebackers. Good protection, good delivery, excellent route, coming back to the ball. See Covert covering his eyes. Said, I don't know where the guy is, but I'll get him.
Where'd he come from? First down. Chicago threatening at the Packer 20. Play action, and under pressure, McMahon gets the ball off, and it is caught by Moorhead. Fine effort by both the quarterback and the receiver, the veteran Emery Moorhead.
Well, that's again, it comes off the play action fake, and he's allowed to get outside and put pressure on the defense. Anytime a quarterback gets out of contain, it really creates problem for the secondary, because they don't know where to stop. They're supposed to be in a certain zone area where the quarterback's in the pocket. Now all of a sudden he's outside. What area do I protect?
Second down. Neil Anderson. Loose ball. Bears have it. Anderson fumbled on a hit from Johnny Holland, the rookie from Texas A&M.
Well, not only that, the rain has started to come up a little bit as well and making the ball a little bit slicker.
Well, you mean he hasn't got the sticky gloves on?
No, he doesn't have the proper gloves. That's all it is. It's a glove support. You see the handoff. The handoff is good. It's inside. He's carrying the ball in his left hand, and it just pops out. Got to go to the glove store and head into the old glove store and see what you got.
Jimbo Covert, the guy to come up with the loose ball.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, he said, I know we got it, but let me just peek just to make sure.
That would have been a slightly different reaction had they lost it.
You can bet on that.
Third down and about 2 footballs to go for a first. They need to get to the 10. McMahon has it. First and goal, Bears. 8:07 to go in the third quarter at Soldier Field. Green Bay led this game early in the first period. Bears tied it up at 7. Green Bay went on top by a field goal, and Butler from 22 yards out with 4 seconds to play tied it for the Bears at halftime. After the blocked field goal try of Zendejas for Green Bay, the Bears had moved inside the 10. Walter Payton pursuit by the Packers.
Johnny Holland out front. Carricker, another one. Holland, Noble, that whole left side pursuing to where Peyton's going to be. That's one thing about having one back in the backfield. We saw Calvin Thomas go in motion. The defense has no one else to key on. When you've got one guy sitting back there, everybody can concentrate on him. Everybody can look at him. Quarterback turns around and pitches it to him. It's no mystery who's got it.
Of course, all those other guys are supposed to be blocking for him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, it doesn't always work out that way.
A loss of about a half yard. 2nd and goal.
I got to believe they come with the play action here.
Anderson, misdirection. Good defensive play by Harris. Tim Harris didn't buy that at all. And he's pumped up.
Well, the Bears continuing to try and run the football.
Look at this. It's a debate going on here.
There are a few conversationalists on these teams. Okay, Harris loves to be able to... Hey, look, talk to anybody. Now he's talking to the referee. Now he's talking to Anderson. Look, he's not done yet, I'll guarantee you. See? He's just not done. There you see 13 and a half quarterback sacks in 17 games as a starter. Been a real force.
Well, with Otis Wilson on the sidelines with an injury for the Bears, Harris is definitely the top talker out there. And for McKinnon, incomplete.
Now, oddly enough, that was the same pass play that we saw the Bears try before the end of the half, when there was only 7 seconds to go at halftime. He just changed the receivers around a little bit. He wanted to go to Gentry before the half. This time he wanted to go to McKinnon and wound up with the same result, an incompletion.
So Kevin Butler will be attempting the field goal from the 17-yard line, a 27-yard try from the left hash. And he's got it. Chicago Bears take the lead, 13-10, 6:38 to play, third quarter. Battles, these two teams, 7 of the last 9 been decided by a touchdown or less. 3 weeks ago, it was a final play field goal by Kevin Butler. They decided it in favor of the Bears, and we've got another tight one underway here today, 13-10. Brian Wagner, the punter, will kick off again for Chicago. The 6-yard line, bobbled by Fullwood, and he is buried at the 13. A wet and dreary day here in Chicago, but hopefully the sun will shine for Army and Navy next Saturday on CBS Sports. A great traditional inter-service rivalry, 2 o'clock Eastern time, followed by a live telecast from the Downtown Athletic Club of New York City. The announcement of this year's Heisman Trophy Award winner. Crowd getting into it here. They love this rivalry, as the players do. White play action, complete to Neal. First down, Packers at the 31-yard line. Frankie Neal, who had 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over Kansas City.
Well, this is where the play action fake. You see Richard Dent at the right of your screen. He's up. He's actually a defensive lineman, but he comes from the rush. The play action freezes him just for a second and allows Wright to get the ball to Neal. Vesti Jackson closing, Dave Durson coming in and putting a hit on it. Durson was talking about last week's win against Detroit. He says it was a double win. We ended our losing streak and regained our confidence. To the Bears, losing 1 game is a losing streak.
Brent Fullwood gets about 4. And still going. Well, wait a minute. Whistle hadn't blown. Bears thought they had him down at the 35. What an effort by Fullwood. He's got a first down to the 42-yard line.
This is just a simple handoff. You see the line take on one another. They block out on Perry, turn him out, and let Fullwood go up inside. Now there you think he's stopped by Marshall and Bell, but he keeps his feet going. And the offensive line keeps knocking people. Now they're holding on to offensive linemen, and he sneaks away. Moves through the dot and picks up the first down.
What a great job by the Auburn rookie, 210-pound Brent Fullwood. First down, Packers at their own 42. Caruth comes in to replace him. And Kelly Cook also in the backfield. This is Cook. Not much running room. Maybe 2 yards on the play. Free agent from Oklahoma State, number 20, Kelly Cook. Packers have only 4 running backs rest today with the injury to Kenneth Davis. So Cook gets some time. Dent and Perry made the tackle on him.
We've called William Perry's name quite a bit. Of course, he's playing full-time now because of the injury to Wilson. There you see him, a slim trim 338. You don't hear much about his weight because he's playing so well. He's still big.
Caruth flags. First down, Green Bay, depending on the penalty flag.
Right to Caruth. Was complete. Knocked out of bounds by Rivera. There's a flag on the play.
Rivera drove him out. Against Green Bay, an interference penalty.
Offensive pass interference against the Packers.
Interference, number 86, offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Tight end Ed West called for offensive interference.
Well, what happens now with the rules that the offensive linemen are allowed to push out straight. This is one of the things that get called a lot in the last couple of years, is the defense can chuck the wide receivers and tight ends within a 5-yard area, but after they get past that 5-yard area, if there's contact, they've been a little more liberal with the tight ends using their hands. That time they did not.
2nd and 20. Make it 2nd and 18. Flag again. Right. Intercepted. Maurice Douglas at the Bear 46-yard line.
That penalty is going to be on Kelly Cook coming in motion and turning up too soon.
And he was the intended receiver.
Formation, offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. He's fine.
That's what happens when he comes in motion from the left of your screen. He leaves the line of scrimmage. Now, Randy Wright commits a cardinal offense. You don't go to your right and throw back across the field to your left. You just got to work there. He just plants even a couple steps. The defense has time to react to the ball, and you wind up with an interception.
So the Bears have the ball at their own 46 when we return. By Maurice Douglas has the Bears at their 46-yard line, first down. They lead 13-10. Walter Payton at the 49-yard line. Mark Murphy, the strong safety, number 37, had tight coverage on him. They gain 4.
That's just an excellent read by McMahon. He was looking to his left to try and hit Ron Morris on the quick slant. The defense took it away. Bang! He knew right back to where to go with the ball to Walter Payton for the quick 5-yard gain.
Second down at the 49-yard line. 3:34 remaining in the third quarter. Good protection. Deep for Galt over everybody.
Well, again, you got to credit Green Bay's defense. They're not allowing Galt to run down the field free and scot-free and open, excuse me. And they just bumped him out of bounds. You see the official throw his hat down, marking he went out of bounds, and if he'd have caught it, it wouldn't have counted anyway.
Man, looked like he was just airing that out for Willie to run under.
Loosen up the shoulder, see how it feels.
Indianapolis beating up on Houston. Philadelphia in command at New England. Look at what Buffalo's doing in Miami. Third down.
Jumping up on Atlanta.
Shotgun formation on the passing down. Gentry in motion. Harris in pursuit of McMahon. They'll have to run it. Tackled after he was out of bounds, and there will be a penalty. McMahon being helped up by his teammates. John Anderson. Now, Anderson is a clean football player. I don't think he realized where he was, but you got to see that white paint and lay off if he's already out.
Well, also you have to understand.
Late hit out of bounds, 59 defense. First down.
Well, you have to understand that the Packers were really the people that have caused a lot of the incidents that have happened with the penalties and keeping scrutiny on the quarterback. You'll see McMahon scramble to his right, get away from Browner, does a good job getting away from Harris. Now he's just moving up the field. Now he's a running back. Now he's trying to run the ball out of bounds. He's out of bounds. And it wasn't that he got pushed out, it was the dragging down well past that line that caused the penalty.
So Green Bay continues to be afflicted by penalties, tied with Dallas in that category.
And officials are aware that Jimmy McMahon was the center of a very bad hit in the ball game, and they're going to do a little bit more to protect him, as they should.
It was a year ago, almost to the date, Charles Martin of the Packers on McMahon. Walter Payton over the 35 to the 34-yard line. Harris and Holland, the linebackers, combined on the tackle, and fired up Tim Harris, saying, "We got to keep playing with intensity here, penalties or not." I'm assuming that's what's running through his mind. Let's go, defense.
Well, what's interesting is you got Johnny Holland, a rookie, over trying to calm down Tim Harris, who's a second-year player. You would think it would be the other way around. You'd think that the rookie would be all fired up and screaming and yelling. In this case, it's not. They're going to try and put a little bit of a damper on Harris. And you see Johnny Holland go. The rest of the guy says, "Whoa, slow down, take it easy, settle down."
34-yard line, 2nd and 8. Anderson. Just short of the first down. Covert, sore shoulder and all with a block.
Well, this is the case where the passing game has started to open up the running game. Right in front of your screen, that's Harris. Now Van Horn's just going to take him and set him up. Now Jimbo Covert comes around the corner and just cuts out Harris's legs with a good block, allowing Anderson to turn the corner. Once you get a guy with his speed, with his shoulders pointing upfield, lots of good things can happen.
Bears with a bunch of fine offensive running backs, and Thomas Sanders, Calvin Thomas, Matt Suhey has not carried at all this year. Neil Anderson today, 23 yards, 12 carries. The successor to Walter Payton as the running back, but having to play at fullback until Walter hangs him up at the end of the year. And dives for the first down to the 25-yard line of Green Bay.
You know, talking to Johnny Rowland, their backfield coach, he said, you know, I got to be like a politician. I've got 5 backs who can start. The question is, how do I utilize everyone? And what he's tried to do is let a guy stay in for 4 or 5 plays and then get some fresh legs in. And you don't get the big rushers. You don't get the 100-yard games you've gotten. But if you put all their backs together, you get a good, solid performance. Like that 178 yards rushing against Detroit last week.
They've got a first down at the 25-yard line. Thomas and Sanders are the running backs now. This is Thomas Sanders. And he gets to the 20. Pickup of 5 for Sanders. Tim Harris and Brian Noble stopped him at the 20.
There's a guy that averaged 8.3 yards per rush last year.
Well, they think he's going to be just an outstanding running back, but
well, they've got a bunch of
crowded there.
It is a little crowded back there. You know, they got a bunch of outstanding people.
Anderson to the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Chicago. Final minute of this 3rd quarter. And the running game of the Bears now starting to take effect.
And you're going to see these 2 wide receivers get involved in the running game, which allows Anderson to get outside. That's the one thing I think that's improved the most. And when you talk to Willie Gault, it's one of the things he's most proud of, is his ability to block. You see, he just gets in the way, just gets a hand on Mark Lee, allowing Anderson to turn the corner.
Third quarter, score.
The injured player down is Brian Noble of Green Bay. We have 41 seconds to go in the third.
14, New Orleans.
Brian Noble having been assisted off, and the Bears have it. First down at the 11-yard line. Walter Payton gets about 2. Now they spotted the ball just outside the 10 on that last play, and therefore the Bears could conceivably get a first down at about the 6-inch line.
And Johnny Holland taking a page out of Tim Harris's book, having a few words with Calvin Thomas. You know, Johnny Holland, they've talked about him in the same breath with Shane Conlon and Brian Bosworth, and through 9 games, you know, he's had 1 sack, 1 interception, which is a little bit ahead of the other big name, big money players that play linebacker in this league.
And they do not get the play off. That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Chicago Bears 13, the Green Bay Packers 10. Joe Theismann live from Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears driving are deep in Packer territory, leading 13-10. As we begin the fourth quarter, we're in Chicago. Calvin Thomas and Thomas Sanders are in the lineup at running back for Chicago. Sanders walks in for the score. And now there's a punch up in the end zone. Tight end Cap Boso of the Bears. A couple of Packer defenders. And flags fly after the play is over. Jim McMahon acting as a pacifier down there.
Personal foul, slugging, number 86 on the Bears after the touchdown. 6 points, 15 yards on the kickoff.
Well, Dick Jorgensen says it all. That might be a team record for slugging penalties in one game. Bestie Jackson got one, and Cap Boso might have to consider boxing careers.
It'd be a lot easier. You wouldn't have to hit guys with helmets on.
Butler will attempt the point after. So in another high-strung, emotional matchup, the Bears and the Packers going at each other in a tough football game as usual. Chicago takes a 20-10 lead as we have just begun the final period.
Right there, you're going to see John Dorsey's filled in for Brian Noble. Now the block's going to go right through Thomas, is going to take it, and Thomas is going to take it right on in. 2 Thomases. Calvin Thomas going to clear the way for Thomas Sanders. Look at that hole he gets a chance to run through. You see Dorsey with an attempt at the tackle, but just can't make it. I think it's so much more difficult down around the goal line when you've got 2 backs in the backfield. The defense has got twice as many things to worry about than the one that we saw before when Payton was stopped on the pitch.
Well, and a sample of how the running's been spread around. Payton with 16 yards, Anderson with 23. McMahon's got 24 yards. He's rushed the ball 6 times as he's been flushed. Now this kickoff will come from the 20-yard line because of the penalty to Cap Boso. Well, next on CBS, we'll have more football for you. Our doubleheader action features the Super Bowl champion Giants with Phil Simms back at quarterback against Jay Schrader at quarterback with his Washington Redskin teammates because of the injury to Doug Williams. And Washington at 7-3, still a little bit leery about the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants down at the bottom after a disappointing start. Wagner, the punter, will kick it off.
And Green Bay should get real good field position because he's got to kick off from his own 20.
Well, he gets a dandy kick away. Fullwood had to chase it back to the 7. Another flag down. And Fullwood, a great effort to get to the 20-yard line.
And they're going to call an illegal block on Paul Caruth, and the ball's going to wind up back on the 7-yard line for Green Bay.
Brent Fullwood has done everything he's been asked
Illegal
of.
block, number 30, receiving team, half the distance to the goal line, first down.
But the illegal block by Caruth forces the Packers to start deep.
Well, that mistake comes by not fielding a kickoff. Right on the left side of your screen, lower left part of your screen, you're going to see the block by Paul Caruth. He just hits Maurice Douglas right in the back. You just can't do that. There's no mystery about it. You just can't do it.
Fullwood, more flags fly. Wilbur Marshall put the hit on him after a gain of about a yard.
That's another holding penalty against the Packers. The Bears will probably decline this one because there was no gain. They'd rather take the down, make them use one up.
Holding, number 57, offense, decline. Second down.
Rich Moran charged with the holding, and you got it right, Joe. They decline. Joey Hackett comes in at tight end. Number 89 delivering a play for Forrest Gray.
It's like the fans have woken up here. The Bear defense has woken up. And having played in this stadium, I can tell you, it's tough to call cadence.
Wright intended for the tight end West, who tripped out near the 20-yard line. Rivera had the coverage.
The first drive, he was 1 for 1. Since that, he's 6 for 17 with 2 interceptions. Which means he came out hot as a firecracker, now he's fizzling.
Bears have been applying a lot of pressure to him, and it's paid off. Third down. 4 wide receivers in. Wright scrambles out to the 17-yard line. Singletary stopped him there. And it looks like he may have the first down.
You get a chance to see what Randy Wright gets a chance to see.
They will measure.
Right after they see if he's got the first down.
Good effort by Randy Wright.
Forrest Gregg has really changed his football team in the 4 years. First they were 8-8. There it is, first down. Now he's got a lot of young players, only 8 guys left from 2 years ago. There's Wright in the pocket. Now here comes the pressure up the middle. Durson starts and fakes. Now they come back, Dent on the outside. Perry loops around. He's got a hole, and he steps up in. Does a good job of knowing where he has to get to.
So the Packers can breathe a little bit on their 17 with a first down. Cook. Not much, if anything. McMichael, Marshall, 76 and 58 for the Bears on the stop.
Wilbur Marshall has been all over the field. He's been in a pass coverage. He's been in pass rush. There you saw him shut down the run. He's the man designed to go in and try and put pressure on the quarterback. So he's going to be in the backfield all day. He just looks for holes to run through.
No doubt that this Bear defense came out of the locker room at halftime really revved up. First down to the 37-yard line. Perfect strike from Randy Wright.
Randy Wright just doesn't seem to be bothered by what's going on. Here comes Marshall up the middle. Singletary, you see Rivera from the outside. He just slides a little bit and makes a good throw.
19-yard gain.
How bad does Singletary want to get to the quarterback? There you see him take on. Now look, he's just crawling along the ground, doing everything he can to get there.
But the Packers have a first down at their 37. An important drive for them here in the fourth. Wright finds an open man. West, another first down to midfield. Singletary on the tackle. 12:43 to play. Packers trail by 10. Wright has them moving upfield smartly.
When you know Mike Singletary is back 10, 15 yards down the field making tackles, you know he's not putting pressure on the quarterback. This is one of the differences in the Bears of this year and in previous years. You'll see him go back. He moves in for the play action fake. Now he looks for the tight end. He finds West, but can't quite stay with him. And that is one of the differences. They don't put as much pressure by 7 and 8 people up front as they did in the past.
Right, quick release to West again. Trying to get to the marker, and they're going to get him there at the 40-yard line. They'll spot the ball, and that'll be a Packer first down again.
This is just a hot read by Randy Wright. From the outside, Todd Bell's going to come. He's over the tight end. When he comes, it's his job to find the tight end and get rid of the ball. It's a good read by Wright. You see, he looks, here comes Bell. Okay, I got to go to the tight end right now. Bang, get it out. Good, quick read.
First down at the 40-yard line of Chicago. Impressive drive by Green Bay. They need it here. Fullwood. Not much room on the left side. He's had more luck on the right. Got about 2 on that play. For another NFL update, let's take it out of Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, it's the hottest combination of the day. The Philadelphia Eagles, Cunningham to Quick. Everybody watch the extension on the receiver's part. Just a great catch for 6 more for Quick 6. 31-10 Eagles. Let's go back to Tim.
Quite a rebound for the Eagles after last week.
Watch the pound and go.
There it is. You see how they've done against the pass the last 3 games and how they've done against the run.
Well, it did lead to some changes. We'll tell you about them. Right. With some time for Caruth, incomplete. Out of the backfield, unable to make the grab. Singletary on the coverage.
Now it hits Singletary right in the back. Mike Singletary knows who he's got to cover. He knew he had Caruth in coverage, and he just runs out. Now you see Singletary at the top of your screen. Randy Wright makes a throw, so Singletary says, oh, I got to get there. I got to get there. If I can't defend it with my hands, let him hit the 5. So he knocks it down with his left, the back of his left arm.
Singletary has had to do a lot of running here in these last several plays on pass coverage. Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator, changed his nickel pass defense, got Richardson back in. Some changes in their pass defense. Epps, loose ball recovered by the Packers. Walter Stanley alertly grabbed it as it came popping out of the hands of the receiver.
Oh, boy.
Philip Epps.
Boy,
Tough way to get a first down.
Gee whiz, you want to define football? Wright does a good job avoiding the rush. Singletary comes up the middle, tries to knock it down. Now there's a good catch by Epps, and watch Festi Jackson. Pow! There comes the ball. Walter Stanley says, holy mackerel, what's this thing? They're raining from the skies. Gee whiz.
What a great play. Stanley gets the Pack a first down at the Bear 28. Fullwood trying the right side, gets a couple. Ron Rivera, first contact.
That's what's known as an honesty run. You just want to keep the Bear defense a little bit honest, so you just hand the ball and just say, okay, we're going to run the ball. We know we don't expect much from it, but let's just keep you honest with it.
Second down and 9. Packer 26. What a catch by Stanley. come back toward the line of scrimmage to make a diving grab. Well, he's having some fun out there.
It isn't a question of just catching the ball from quarterbacks. He's got to keep his eyes in the air. You see him from the right part of your screen. He's going to come across. Singletary runs out in coverage. Todd Bell makes her. That's Vesty Jackson making the move. Goes right through his hands. And Stanley says, holy mackerel, there's another one in the air I'm going to try and catch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. First down. We got it.
3rd down and 2 from the shotgun. Wide open, too far. Intended for Pasquette. Wright saw how wide open he was and just rushed it a little bit.
Incomplete.
Now let's go get another update from the NFL and Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim, the Saints now have continued to come back. They have taken the lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Avery was shaken up, comes in and throws a touchdown pass to Eric Martin. Saints lead for the first time, 17-14. Back to Tim.
Perhaps playoff bound, the New Orleans Saints. They might be more than playoff bound. They might be bound for the top of the NFC West.
Well, you know, Mr. Benson doing the Benson boogie all the way down Bourbon Street.
Field goal try. Zendejas from the 28, it's blocked. Ball still loose.
Now, this could be Packer ball. It depends on whether or not they say Todd Bell had possession of it.
Al Harris blocked the field goal try. And then a whole bunch of them got contact.
Well, and the last one that had the ball was Todd Bell in his hands, and it looks like if they declare him with possession, it's going to wind up Packer football. A recovery after a fumbled recovery, fumble, recovery. That's what they're discussing right now. Who had the ball, and did he have possession?
It is possession by the Bears, then fumble, Green Bay, first down.
Well, there you go. That's just the way they planned it.
Yeah, right. I don't think it's quite, that's their second field goal in a row that they've had put back in their face of a pretty good distance. Forrest Gregg shaking his says, I don't think I want to try and get possession of the ball this way.
Well, they lost some yardage, but they kept the ball. They got a first down now at the Bear 47-yard line after all that.
And he taps Max on the head. He says, okay, we got the ball back. I don't mind.
Well, they practiced all week on that play.
That's a tough one.
They didn't want the 3. They're down by 10. They had to get the ball back at a first down.
That was one of those classic cases where you get the ball blocked. Somebody doesn't quite have possession of it. Then Bell picks it up. He starts to tuck it away, hits the ground. The ball comes out. Boom. Packers wind up with it 1st and 10.
Packers had 14 plays on that drive. Wind up with a blocked field goal, and they effectively start over again.
Being reviewed and the replay on this end.
There we go. You take a look at it as we take a look at it. There you see the kick is blocked up the middle. I believe that's Rivera going after the ball. He doesn't have possession of it. It's on the ground. Bracken can't get it. Now Todd Bell has the ball. Then he bounces it. And the Packers wind up with it.
Well, so often you see a player trying to pick up that loose ball and go the distance instead of getting possession. Brian Noble was the man who got possession for Green Bay.
And there really isn't a better defensive team to pick the ball up and run it in than the Bears.
Right for Epps and a fine catch and a first down at the 25, but another flag down.
Complete. Brought down by Dewerson. There's a flag in the play.
Dewerson made the tackle.
Holding, number 58, defense, decline. First down.
Wilbur Marshall called for defensive holding.
Well, Wilbur Marshall's supposed to be rushing the passer. He's never normally in coverage. You'll see from left of your screen. He's just locked up, holding on to somebody, probably the tight end out there. Good protection again, Randy. That's a great throw. Mike Richardson couldn't get his hand on it. That's an excellent throw. And Phillips Epps was the man that hurt the Bears the last time they played. Had 6 receptions for 139 yards and a touchdown.
Intended for Epps again. Knocked away by Mike Richardson. Richardson, who had a contract dispute, lost his job to Reggie Phillips by the time he got going, but got the job back last week. This is just his second start. Part of the changes we referred to, Vince Tobin with the pass defense having some problems, and of course the injuries to Wilson and Hampton, changing up his whole pass rush, and then he changes nickel defense with Bell and Rivera coming out and Gale and Maurice Douglas going in on the nickel. So he's been doing some shuffling, and he's got the number 2 ranked defense. Second and 10. Sack. Al Harris. Second Bear sack of the day.
And you got to give credit to the defensive secondary on that one. Randy Wright had nowhere to go with the football. They just rush 4 people. They just bring those 4 people in. You'll see just these guys up front are going to put pressure. But watch the drops of the secondary. You'll see everybody match up. The Packers expecting blitz. They keep both their backs in. They run 3 receivers down the field, but there's 7 guys back there to cover. There's nowhere to go with the football.
Third down. 15 from the 30. Fans keeping track. Wright. Neal out of bounds at the 20. Got 10 yards. Frankie Neal.
Boy, does this bring up a decision for Forrest Gregg. Okay, I've had 2 kicks knocked back in my face. It's 4th down and 6. What do I do? Do I go for it? Heck yeah. Why take a chance on having another one blocked?
Frankie Neal comes right back on the field. He thought he was supposed to go to the bench, but they got him back out there on 4th down. 4 wide receivers. Neal makes the catch, but he did not have possession inbounds.
Doesn't matter anyway. He didn't have the 1st down.
He was short by a couple of yards, and he stayed inbounds.
Well, there you see now. He's got to go to the 15-yard line. He's right on the 15 with the catch, but he's coming back. It doesn't do you any good whether you got possession.
So we'll return to Soldier Field after this word from your local station. Joe Theismann back at Soldier Field, reminding you that tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes following doubleheader action, and Murder, She Wrote, our CBS Sunday movie, The Long Journey Home. First down Bears after the Packers failed on 4th down at their own 21. Chicago starts, and Peyton gets about a yard. Tim Harris, pardon me, number 97 for the Packers, makes the stop.
Johnny Holland coming up, make the hit.
A gain of 1. 2nd and 9.
Prior to the game today, they had a moment of silence here in Chicago for their late mayor Harold Washington, who died on Wednesday and is still lying in state, and flags are at half-mast here at Soldier Field, and the gray skies suit the somber mood in town at the sudden and tragic loss of their popular mayor. Thomas Sanders breaks loose out the right side and has a first down to the 39-yard line.
That's one way to get your average back up. Tom Thayer and Keith Van Horn on the right side. They're going to make the blocks. Kick out, run the fullback through here, and boom, you're gone. Nothing real complicated about it. Neil Anderson getting a chance to block. Everybody gets a piece of somebody, and look at that hole. No, you can't be late trying to close that hole up with Sanders running through.
17-yard pickup for Sanders. Now the Bears with 6:19 have good field position, a first down, and a 10-point lead. Calvin Thomas. To the Packer 42. Murphy on the stop. Perhaps a little wind coming out of the sails of the pack. An 18-yard gain.
Well, that time Thomas Sanders had a chance to block. And he makes a good block on Tim Harris. And it sort of baffled me a little bit. All these defensive ends now want to stand up. That time he exposed all 6'5" of his body to a smaller running back and gave him a chance to just get a piece of him and turn him out so Thomas could turn the ball upfield.
Payton, nowhere to go. And a flag down.
Woo, that time Neil Anderson tried to put a block on Tim Harris, but he was ready for it and just drove him back into the backfield.
Dick Jorgensen will sort this one out.
5-yard face mask foul. Number 93, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Robert Brown.
There's Tim Harris, 97. Robert Brown grabs on. And that's just after Neil Anderson tried to block Harris as well. I guess I feel like it's so much easier to hit a guy in the head and grab his face mask and hang on and try and tackle the rest of his body.
16 penalties in this football game. You know, there have been a lot of penalties since the strike. I think if you just go through the league, there seem to be an awful lot of penalties. Teams just are not as sharp. The strike has had its effects in many, many ways on this season. Sanders right straight ahead behind Bortz and Hilgenberg. First down, Bears at the 32-yard line of Green Bay.
You know, Sanders is that nifty, quick back. Anderson's a little bit bigger, more like a Walter Payton, and he just takes that little hole up the middle. All he needs is a little crack, and boom, he's gone.
Jim Covert being taken to the sidelines in apparent considerable pain to the Bears bench. That'll bring in Paul Blair, number 68. Calvin Thomas and Tim Harris comes firing in to drop him for a loss. Harris now hollering at the crowd. He's ready to take on the world. Fired up defender all day for Green Bay, Tim Harris. They may talk a lot, but he can play.
Covert looked like, there's Jim Covert down. Looks like it's his leg this time, not his shoulder. You see that harness on his left shoulder, now his left knee. Those offensive linemen, they're a special breed of man. You know, it takes more than 1 or 2 injuries to stop them. It'll take 5 or 6.
Bears have taken a timeout with 3:38 to play, and they are in command at 20-10. Impressive running attack has led to this 20-10 lead. It looks like the physically stronger and, let's face it, more talented Chicago Bears have just taken away the play from the pack.
Well,
here.
they really have, and the crowd has gotten into the game more. The enthusiasm level is back. I think the one aspect of the game that has changed drastically is the Bears defense has really raised its level of play. They have taken charge of this game, and that's really what the Bear fans have been looking for.
On the negative side for the Bears, an injury to Jim Covert, their starting left tackle, an all-pro. If he has a serious injury, that could certainly bode ill the rest of the season. A little shuffle pass to Dennis Gentry, but the Packers covered that well after a gain of only about 3 yards. Covert has injured his left ankle, will not be back in this game, but we don't know the extent of it, but they haven't wheeled him out of here yet, so that might be a good sign. He's not gone to the locker room. It'll leave 3rd down and 12 for Chicago at the Packer 33-yard line. The usual tough physical battle between these two arch rivals. Packers show blitz, but don't come with it. It is. Dennis Gentry got only a couple. But the clock continues to tick away. They're down to 2:49.
Boy, there's a fair share of misdirection. You got Neil Anderson, you're faking a running play too, going to the left. You got Dennis Gentry coming up underneath on a little screen, little outlet pass on the right side, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Where are we going? Fortunately, the Packers were in man-to-man coverage and were able to make the play.
So on 4th down, Butler is going to try a 52-yard field goal. And that, if he makes it, would match his longest. 20-10. Chicago leads Green Bay.
Yes, good.
To 10 on a 52-yard field goal by Kevin Butler. 2:44 to play. Tim Ryan, Joe Theismann, and Brian Wagner will kick it off. Kevin Butler, if he's worried about his kickoffs, we're not quite sure why. He just nailed a 52-yard field goal. But the punter, Wagner, continues to do the kicking off, and he does it well. Kelly Cook takes it deep, will not bring it out. 2:38 remains here at Soldier Field on a wet and gloomy day, but spirits are high for Bears fans. Being taken off with what is called at the moment a sprained ankle. They've got an immobilizer device there, as you can see, over that left ankle. All-pro left tackle.
Speaking of ankles and foot, that's Butler's foot. Kevin Butler actually has made sure his wife, Kathy, who's pregnant and due in February, he stole that from her, though. That's a little booty warmer, a little foot warmer. And he said, look, I was talking to him on the field before. He said, I hope she gets here because my feet are cold. So there it is. His poor wife sitting up there with cold feet, but yet he's got warm ones on the sideline.
Hope he's got that foot insured. The Packers from the 20-yard line. Caruth. Out to the 25 from Randy Wright. For another NFL update, let's go to Brent in New York.
Tim, it is 4th and goal for the Steelers against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have stopped them on 3 straight plays. The Steelers run wide to the left. The Saints are there. Great goal line stand. The Saints a minute and 20 seconds away from their first winning season ever. Back to Tim.
Well, you know, there are a lot of fans in the Chicago area looking in who have become Saints fans because Jim Finks, general manager here for many years in Chicago, is now the boss there. Wright scrambling and well slides in to the 40-yard line for another Packer first down. 2:21 to go. The Pack down by 13 after that 52-yard field goal by Butler.
So
Wright
good
trying to
pass.
hurry it up.
Well, he's trying to hurry it. And of course, the Chicago Bears just strolling back to the defense. They want to take as much time as they can off the clock.
Blitzing. Oh, look at that move. Complete. First down to the 43-yard line. Philip Epps. Randy Wright. That was the duck of the year there.
Not the pass.
No, the duck. Watch him duck under this. Amazing.
Here comes Marshall up the middle. Now, Paul Caruth takes him on. From the right side, here comes Richard Dent. There goes Rivera. Oh, my, where was I? Here I am. Wait a second. Now look at this throw.
Outstanding play. Randy Wright to Epps. We'll be right back. Reminding you that next on CBS, you'll see the Giants at Washington. Some of you Tampa Bay at the Rams, except in the Chicago area where there will be no doubleheader telecast today. First down. Wright scrambling and gets it off to Caruth, and what a hit on him. But he holds on to the ball. Maurice Douglas made the tackle on him, but Caruth picks up 8 on the play to the 35 of the Bears.
Paul Caruth now filling the shoes of Kenneth Davis, who was going to be the guy that should be catching the ball out of the backfield.
Right with Douglas blitzing, complete to Frankie Neal, and it looks like it'll be a first down Green Bay. The time continues to tick away with 1:15 to go, and Wright took quite a shot from Douglas, and he'll call timeout.
You can see Forrest Gregg wanted him to get to a timeout. What a hit.
1:09 remaining. The Bears by 13. First down Packers as Neal just got to the marker on this catch. Right, gets some time, and it's intended for Pasquette and just overthrown. For another quick update from Brent Musburger, let's return you to New York.
Tim, Dan Marino's streak is over. He cannot come up with a touchdown pass. Instead, he throws 3 interceptions, and the Buffalo Bills shut out the Miami Dolphins 27-0. That interception by Burrows as he brings the clock down. Now let's send you back.
Wow, humiliating defeat for Don Shula and the Miami Dolphins today.
Well, you wouldn't think with all that offensive weaponry they would ever get shut out.
Pasquette just flat out drops that one.
Incomplete.
And it'll be 3rd down, Green Bay.
3rd and 10 at the 32.
Randy Wright having a tough day, but the 4th quarter he's played pretty well. He was 3 for 11 in the first half, and now he's come back with 11 of 18 for 129 yards. He stood in the pocket very well, moved around, and he's another one of those young quarterbacks who's starting to mature. He's got a very young football team around him, doing a good job of protecting him, basically.
3rd down and 10. Sidesteps the rush again. Drops the ball this time. And he will be called down with a sack. It'll still be Green Bay ball. 4th down.
Was moved in the grasp of Bill Perry.
Right in the grasp of one of the Bear blitzers.
You know, he was if it was 1, it was 2. William Perry. There's Big William right in the middle. Randy Wright dancing around. William Perry sheds his blocker. Not noticed for his pass rushing, but still does an excellent job now. He's got him, and it's just like a sandwich. He's treating him like a sandwich. There's no way he's going to get away. There's William.
Big Bill, as the coach calls him now, just plain Bill. Let's go to Brent once more in New York.
All right, Tim, the New Orleans Saints have wrapped up their first winning season ever. The last play of the game, they intercept Mark Malone, and they hold off the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-16. Let's hear it for the Saints. Back to Tim.
Oh, my goodness, they'll be celebrating down there. Won't that be fun? Can we get a plane to New Orleans from here?
The Benson Boogie will have to see what we can do here.
There's what's ahead for the Bears. They got a tough one next week at Minnesota. The Vikings are not about to cave in. And then they've got the 49ers, Seattle, and the Raiders. So a tough row to hoe. They were looking for a return to the old Bears today. Near pickoff by Sean Gale. A pass intended to Frankie Neal. And the Green Bay Packers will give it up to the Bears with 47 seconds left to play.
Well, that's when you know something's happened, is when the head coach takes his headgear off. He's either going to smile or he's going to sit there and think about what if.
Now, Forrest Gregg, as he said, you know, gosh, if they're ready to play, so they're a better football team than we are right now. He's a realist about it, but he likes the direction that this club's going in. As you said earlier, only 8 players from the regime that was here when he came into Green Bay. He's got the kind of players that he wants. He's weeded out guys he didn't want. Mike Tomczak comes in a quarterback for the Bears. So Forrest Gregg feels that the Pack will be on an upward curve from here on out. Thomas Sanders, not much there, got maybe a yard to the 40-yard line. Ryan Noble, who had left the game earlier with an injury, but back out there. They're a spirited, tough young bunch, and they've played another physical battle, as usual, with the Bears. Didn't make it easy for them.
Mike Ditka's got to feel better about his overall performance of his ball club. The fans got into the game. Of course, we talked earlier in the week. He wasn't real happy with that. And they gave him something to cheer about today. I think that's what's going to make him happier than anything.
Second down play. Tomczak will just let it run out. So the Chicago Bears have moved their mark to 9-2 atop the NFC Central. Minnesota at 7-4 in second place, and the Pack falls to 4-6-1. For Joe Theismann, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Soldier Field, where our final score, the Bears 23, the Packers 10.